Castform is an interesting Pokemon. This guy was designed to showcase the all-new concept of weather synergy in the Gen 3 games. Castform has 3 different forms depending on the active weather effect: a sun form, rain form, and hail form, each with a different type. And Castform also has access to the move Weather Ball, which at the time was its signature move. This move also changes type based on the active weather effect, just like Castform itself, and doubles in power if a weather effect is active. This is a pretty awesome Pokemon design, and one of the first Pokemon with a type-changing mechanic, which was quite novel at the time. But unfortunately, Castform has never been a great choice on the competitive side of things. Even by Gen 3's standards, a stat distribution of base 70 across the board is not fantastic. But there is one format where Castform is a dominant and central force, in rain or shine. Gen 3 ZU. ZU, which stands for Zero Used, is a format that the weakest Pokemon with the lowest usage call home. And among all the other weaklings, Castform is actually extremely powerful and versatile. Castform is arguably the best Pokemon in this format, with only one other Pokemon in the conversation. Let's take a look at all the different ways Castform can be used in Gen 3 ZU, and what makes it so special. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that we can prevent Iron Fellow from investigating the whereabouts of Iron Mugulis. If this fellow sets foot into the real world, I'm not sure we'd be able to withstand his wrath. Thank you. Although Castform is designed around its different weather forms, in Gen 3 ZU this Pokemon can function quite well in just its base form. Base 70 in all stats is solid for Gen 3 ZU, and this Pokemon has a surprisingly vast move pool that allows it to function well both offensively and defensively. The most common way to use Castform is with a bulky attacking set. Protect helps Castform earn chip heal from leftovers, and Scout what move Choice Band users lock into. And in the remaining 3 slots, Castform can use whatever coverage it needs to fill gaps in your team. Return and Double Edge are common neutral stab options. Ice Beam helps you threaten common Pokemon like Rhyhorn and Lileep. Offensive water types like Horsea and Seaking are quite popular, so Thunderbolt is a great choice for coverage. Flamethrower can also be used to hit Magnemite. Toxic or Hidden Power Grass are also useful options. This Pokemon is quite customizable. You can choose to invest in special attack and speed to go in a more aggressive direction without even needing weather support. Its coverage is good enough. Sets using Substitute and 3 special attacks are really strong and pose a serious threat. Offensive mixed attacking sets are similarly effective. If you're running attack and speed investment, your Stab Return and Double Edge become very powerful. Flamethrower and Hidden Power Grass complement normal stab well, helping you threaten common normal resists like Magnemite and Rhyhorn. When you're using Castform's base form and no weather synergies, you're taking advantage of the Pokemon's versatile options rather than the breaking power of its weather boosted Weather Ball. But that doesn't mean the weather focused sets aren't excellent in their own right. Weather strategies are quite powerful in this metagame. Rain teams can abuse Swift Swim Pokemon like Horsea and Seaking. Voltorb with Thunder is another powerful rain abuser, and Castform makes these rain teams even more worth using. A rain boosted Stab Weather Ball is extremely powerful and difficult to switch into, especially if you're using the Mystic Water item, which is quite common. Castform even has access to Thunder, another powerful move in the rain. Ice Beam and Thunder are excellent complementary coverage, helping you threaten the grass and water types that resist Weather Ball. What's nice about Castform is that it can also function well against enemy weather. If the enemy uses Sunny Day, you become Fire type Castform and gain a Fire type Weather Ball, which is quite nice against all the grass types commonly used on Sun teams. Speaking of Sun teams, this is an area where Castform also really shines. Rain teams have some advantages. Voltorb is a fast rain setter that can start games off aggressively, and the Swift Swim Pokemon are a bit more threatening than the Chlorophyll Pokemon. Leading off with a Silk Scarf Voltorb, which outruns almost everything, setting rain on the field, and then using Explosion to trade with the enemy and get your Swift Swim threats in safely, is a fantastic aggressive opener. But while rain teams are more all-in on this offensive plan, Sun teams have a bit more of a defensive backbone. The best Chlorophyll Pokemon in Gen 3 ZU is probably Sunflora, another epic choice. It has an impressive 105 base special attack and access to Stab Solar Beam. It also has solid defensive stats, and Synthesis, which heals for 75% in the sun. Although Sunflora is not as immediately threatening as Horsey or Seaking, it is able to stick around longer than any Swift Swim Pokemon can. Skiploom is a cool chlorophyll user that I've been experimenting with, but it isn't very offensively threatening. It can use its high speed in the sun to hit Sleep Powder, or go for a fast Encore to disrupt the enemy. Growlithe is another cool sun threat, though it doesn't have chlorophyll. Agility plus Pitaya Berry Growlithe shooting off sun-boosted Fire Blasts is one of the scariest threats in this format. And then of course there's Castform. Sun-boosted Stab Weather Ball is outstanding, and with access to Solar Beam as well, you have that perfect Fire-Grass coverage combination. Thunderbolt even helps you hit flying types and water types outside of Sun. Unfortunately, Castform's Ice form is never really seen in this format. There are a lot of advantageous synergies you can take advantage of for both Sun and Rain, but almost none for Hail. Ice-type Stab Weather Ball sounds nice, but Castform gets Ice Beam for coverage anyway, which tends to be good enough. It's not worth going out of your way to use Ice-type Castform, since there's no overlapping synergy, and the other type forms have similar breaking power anyway. Castform has a solid case for the #1 spot in this format, but it does have one competitor, Aipom. Aipom might not look like much, but this is perhaps the scariest offensive Pokemon in all of Gen 3 ZU. Very few Pokemon in ZU can outrun that 85 base speed, and the few that can aren't as offensively threatening as Aipom is. Aipom feels a bit like Aerodactyl in Gen 3 OU, a powerful choice band cleaner and enabler for offensive teams. Aipom has good coverage options for its switch-ins too. Brick Break hits Rhyhorn, Nose Pass and Magnemite, and Shadow Ball hits Shuppet. Baton Pass also gives Aipom an option to pivot out and keep up momentum. Choice Band is the most popular set and my personal favorite, but you can also use non-banded sets with options like Taunt and Thunderwave. While Aipom is very easy to fit on teams and is a central threat that you need to check for, I would still give the #1 title to Castform. Castform is much more versatile and can fit on every single style of team. This Pokemon is the reason that weather teams are so effective, and with its huge array of options it can fill gaps like nothing else. And not only is it versatile, it's powerful. Stab boosted Weather Ball under rain or sun is incredibly strong, and even without any weather synergy, this little guy is a frightening force to be reckoned with. If you'd like to try out a rare metagame where Castform is excellent, give Gen 3 ZU a go. This format is currently playable on the main Pokemon Showdown client for a limited time under the ROA Spotlight section. I recently streamed myself trying out this metagame and had a lot of fun. This format is very fast paced and skews towards offensive teams, but nothing is too overwhelming and it really feels like you have a lot of options in team building. I'll share some of the teams I built on stream down below in the description, including a Sun team with Skiploom and a Shuppet Spikes Balance. Yes folks, Shuppet is a central Pokemon and the best ghost type in the game. That's how you know this is an epic format. I think Castform makes for a great central Pokemon that keeps things very dynamic and interesting. I've always really loved this Pokemon design, and it is awesome to see it thrive somewhere. This video was the winner of a poll over on Patreon. Congratulations to Spencer for winning the poll. Become a patron to vote on video topics and suggest some of your own. And thank you as well to everyone who has donated to my Gen 3 OU tournament, ADV Revival.
Whoa! KO by one hit! It's scattered spikes!
The money got different, cause of what I'm spending.